You ever feel like your strangest quirks kind of make you the odd one out? Well, what if those habits, the messy desk, the constant daydreaming, the fact that you love being alone, what if they aren't flaws at all? Okay, let's dive right into this, because psychology actually suggests they might be the very signs of a brilliant mind.
So, what we're going to do here is take a look at 10 common, weird habits and completely reframe them. And hey, by the end of this, you might just see your own eccentricities in a whole new, much smarter light. So, are you ready to find out if your habits are secretly signs of genius? First up, we're exploring the habits that come from having a really powerful inner world. This is all about how highly intelligent minds process information, solve problems, and just engage with their own thoughts in a way that's totally different from most people.
All right, let's kick off our countdown with habit number 10. And this first one, it might surprise you, especially if you've ever been called a homebody or, been told you need to get out more.
Do you find that crowded parties just drain you, but a quiet evening by yourself feels like hitting the reset button? Yeah, that's not being antisocial. That's your brain optimizing itself. See, intelligent minds are constantly processing a huge amount of really complex information, and solitude gives them the space to actually do it. It fires up your brain's default mode network, which is basically your mind's creative playground. It's that state it enters when you stop focusing on one thing, which lets it connect all these different ideas in the background. It's the reason your best thoughts always seem to pop up in the shower.
Now, this powerful inner world, well, it often spills out into our physical space. And that brings us to habit number 9, a classic sign that might have gotten you in a little bit of trouble when you were a kid. If your desk looks like a hurricane just rolled through, but you know exactly where everything is, you might just be a genius in disguise. And look, this idea is actually backed by a fascinating study from the University of Minnesota. They found that people in messy rooms consistently came up with way more creative and innovative ideas. This isn't about being disorganized, it's about what they call organized chaos. A highly creative mind just prioritizes groundbreaking ideas over, tedious tidiness.
So, from the creative chaos of your desk, let's move on to the complex processing that's happening inside your head with habit number 8.
Do you spend like 10 minutes in the cereal aisle analyzing every single option? Yeah? Welcome to the club. But listen, this isn't a flaw. While other people are making quick gut decisions, your brain is busy running these advanced mental simulations. You're weighing all the variables and predicting outcomes by engaging your prefrontal cortex, which is basically your brain's CEO, in charge of all the complex decision-making. So it doesn't mean you're indecisive, it just means you're being incredibly thorough.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about the social world. This next set of habits shows how high IQ individuals often navigate relationships and conversations in a way that might seem a little unconventional, but is actually highly strategic.
So, how does all this high-powered thinking affect our social lives? Well, that brings us directly to habit number 7. If talking about the weather feels like actual intellectual torture, you're in very good company. Intelligent minds just crave depth and meaning. Think about it like this. Your brain is a high-performance engine. Using it for small talk is like being stuck in first gear. You'd so much rather be discussing big ideas, complex systems, and new theories, because that's when your brain gets a real workout and a lot more satisfaction from conversations that truly challenge it.
And, when that deep engagement isn't happening on the outside, the mind often turns inward, which leads us straight to habit number 6.
Ever find your mind wandering during a really boring meeting? That isn't a lack of focus. It's your brain refusing to waste its immense processing power. When you daydream, your brain isn't shutting off. It's actually working harder, making all these creative connections and solving problems in the background. I mean, think of Einstein developing relativity on his walks, or J.K. Rowling dreaming up Harry Potter on a train. Your wandering mind is just running simulations, getting you ready for future challenges.
All right, we're at the halfway point with number 5. This one takes that whole idea of protecting your mental energy and applies it directly to your social circle.
So if you have, say, 3 best friends instead of 300 acquaintances, science says you're probably smarter than average. This isn't about not being able to make friends, it's about strategically investing your cognitive and emotional energy. Intelligent people often choose quality over quantity, seeking out these deep, meaningful relationships that challenge and inspire them. It's really just an optimization of your social energy for maximum reward.
This next section is all about the signs of a truly independent mind. These habits, they show off cognitive flexibility, self-confidence, and just a relentless drive to understand the world in your own unique way. Kicking off this section on unconventional thinking is habit number 4, a quirky little trait that's actually a powerful display of self-trust.
You ever crack a joke that you find absolutely hilarious even if nobody else in the room does? That's not awkward, it's a sign of intellectual independence. It shows you've got strong self-confidence and you don't need other people to validate your perspective. It also probably means you're seeing connections and layers of meaning that others might be missing. What it really boils down to is that you trust your own sense of humor more than you need approval from the room. And that is a smart brain at work.
Okay, now we're cracking into the top 3. And habit number 3 is one that so many of us feel guilty about, but it's secretly one of the best things you can do for your brain.
Is it 3 a.m. and you've fallen down some crazy Wikipedia rabbit hole about the history of forks? That is not procrastination. That is your genius brain in training mode. Curiosity actually primes the hippocampus, which you can think of as your brain's save button for memories, making it way easier to absorb and hold on to new information. So all those random Google searches, they're a form of mental exercise, boosting your ability to think creatively and find some really unexpected solutions.
Coming in at number 2 is a habit that requires both curiosity and some lightning-fast mental processing. It's a form of communication that a lot of people find tricky, but for a high IQ brain, it's practically second nature.
Oh, great. Another meeting that could have been an email. If that sounds like something you'd say, congratulations, you're flexing some serious mental muscle. Sarcasm is basically mental gymnastics. Your brain has to process the literal meaning of what's said, flip it to its opposite, and read social cues all at the same time. And I'm not just making this up. Research from Harvard and Columbia has directly linked sarcasm to higher scores on creativity tests. It forces your brain to engage in this multi-layered abstract thinking at incredible speed.
And here we are, at the number 1 trait. This isn't just a habit, it's a fundamental way the intelligent brain actually perceives reality. It's like the master key that unlocks almost everything else on this list. It's the ability to see the invisible threads connecting everything. It's that you notice patterns everywhere. You see connections, you see coincidences, and you see systems that nobody else does. It's not paranoia. It's one of the strongest indicators of advanced intelligence. It just shows that your brain is hardwired to connect the dots that other people miss.
So there you have it, 10 quirks that are actually signs of a powerful mind at work. See, these aren't things to be embarrassed about, they are strengths to be embraced. So the final question is, now that you know this, how will you lean into your own unique brand of genius?